Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Tours at 10. My name is Joshua Campbell Torrance. I'm the Executive Director here at the Bennington Museum. We're so glad that you're joining us on these morning tours. Today, we're back in collection storage with Callie, and she's got a really neat thing for us to take a look at.
Hi, this is Callie Respusi, the Collections Manager here at the Bennington Museum. Today, we are talking about drinking. Who doesn't like drinking? Well, in the 1920s, not too many people liked drinking, or were at least not supposed to like drinking because of Prohibition. However, Prohibition, which forbade the sale and purchase of alcohol in the United States, was not very successful. And many people pretty flagrantly disobeyed the law. And one of the things that was interesting about the 1920s and Prohibition is that this is when women started to drink publicly much more commonly than they ever had before. Previously, it had been women who had really been spearheading the Prohibition movement. But in the 1920s, women had finally gotten the vote, and you started to have flappers who cut their hair, go out partying, and don't seem to have a care in the world. One of the wonderful objects that we have in our collection is a little flask that belonged to a local flapper in Bennington, Ruth Maria Burt, and it has her initials right here, RMB, and has some dents in the top and on the side, so it seems to have been pretty well used. Not that she could have fit an awful lot in here, but it was enough that she could slip this in her stocking, and when she went out dancing, would have enough to have a little nip to keep her happy and flapping, I guess. We also have her makeup compact here, which this opened up for you. Come on. Another thing about the 1920s is that this is when women started wearing makeup commonly. Women certainly wore makeup before then, but it was not a socially acceptable thing that you were supposed to do. So if you wore makeup, you tried very hard to conceal the fact that you were wearing makeup. But in the 1920s, it was common, everyone was doing it, and you even had a cute little compact like this to show off the fact that you were applying a little bit of rouge. And this opens up, she has powder, a little powder applicator there, and then might have had rouge in this compartment. And a little mirror, of course, so that she could check how she was looking as she was going out dancing. We have a couple of photographs of Ruth Maria Burt in our collection. This is one of her going swimming in her lovely 1920s era bathing suit. Again, in the 1920s, women are becoming much more active, much more going out in public and doing things in public that they would never have done before. Certainly not going out in a bathing suit like this where your arms were bare, your legs were bare, and who knew what else was bare underneath. Here she is with her mother, and this is Ruth here on your left, looking very 1920s-ish. These were given to us by her, I think her niece, Ruth Burt Ekstrom, who was named after Ruth Maria Burt. And they're absolutely wonderful objects because you see exactly what it was like in the 1920s, 100 years ago in Bennington, where women were, getting out, getting active, and doing things that they would never have dreamed of doing in public 100 years before then.
Well, thank you so much, Callie. What a great story about what sounds like a really remarkable woman that you can learn about here at the Bennington Museum, and also some really great objects. And I love objects because objects tell stories, and that is a great story about this really remarkable woman who was part of our history here in Vermont and in Bennington. Thank you so much for joining us at these tours at 10. We know that we're living through some strange times, and it is a unusual time, but I, on the other hand, know that by staying together, we're going to get through this and we're going to survive. If you're so inclined, I'd encourage you to go out and support all of our local businesses. We all need to help each other out in this time. And then I'd also just remind you that, of course, we recognize here at the Bennington Museum that history is happening now, and that we ask you to stay strong, stay safe, and stay creative. Together, we're going to get through this, and we can't wait on the other end of this to see you back here in the galleries and in person at the Bennington Museum. Thank you, and we'll see you next time at Tours at 10.